Oh, oh boy. I just finished seeing Midsommar. I was gonna get my friend Madeline to film a little bit for this review because she saw the film with me. Unfortunately, she had to get going, so this is a shout out just to Madeline. Thanks once again for seeing this movie with me. I've been sitting right now on top of the steps outside the Cineplex for a bit just because Oh, this is a great film, and it's a great film that I was very, very happy to see. I mean, that's this quick summary of the review. Thanks for listening to this. I don't really want to explain much about the story because the entire film, from the very beginning, is revealing events and themes that, if I tell you right now, you're going to say, "Oh, well, why should I bother to see this movie?" You should go see this movie if you are a fan of one, horror films, and two, if you're just a very, very much like open to leaving your judgment at the door when it comes to certain taboos. Specifically, I can't even say specifically because it will ruin the film. All I will say is that this isn't revealing too much. The protagonists of this film, they go to Sweden to attend this festival that one of their friends invites them to. A few of the people are college students, and they're doing a thesis, and they want to do a thesis. Well, one person wants to do a thesis on this commune and this culture, so he's taking it upon himself to listen and venture down to Sweden to learn about this place and to learn about the workings of this community. Some of the other people just join join the group for various reasons, reasons I cannot explain without ruining it. I was leaning forward in my chair a couple times in this movie, not because it was a show of like, oh, I'm really interested. It was simply because I needed to see exactly what the details were of this film. Madeline and I had a conversation just about the style of Ari Aster, like what he's kind of exploring and experimenting. And I'll say that if Ari Aster is going to be continuing to have a style that is so specific in detail-oriented art design and set work, and shot composition and prop usage, if that is his style, I am all for him to continue that, because as much as I loved Hereditary in terms of the shot composition and the presentation of sets and the set decorations and what is littered around the house and the scenes in that film, I think Midsommar has so much more that is so specific to what is being explored in this commune than Hereditary had throughout. And that's not a knock against Hereditary. That's just a show that, like, Ari Aster is stepping his directing up. He's not simply rehashing his style or his expression or his directorial vision. This is the thing that I was having a problem with in the beginning of the film, and this is why I think it's very important for you to leave your judgments at the door with this movie and just be open to what happens. I was very worried that these characters were simply empty vessels for us to connect with as an audience, because some of the side characters are very much, they fit a certain category of people. Like, they're very much, the words they speak, how they talk, how they carry about with their lives is very much fitting into tropes of characters as opposed to actually being unique individuals at times. Like, there's this one joking character who actually, he has his best friend's interests in mind, so when he's talking about, like, women, for instance, there's a reason he's talking about women, rather than just, saying that he's a horny man. And the issue that I was having was that I was finding in the first third, I'm like, okay, the commune seems to be having more personality than the characters. I'm not feeling attached to them at this moment. But as the film progressed, I began to truly have a connection with the characters, especially Danny, the lead. She is an excellent character that Ari has created. This character who is going through something so simple and yet in so many different there's so many different layers to how she's experiencing specific events in her life throughout this commune, and when she's at home, and when she's with her boyfriend, and when she's with these strangers. She has such an interesting reaction with everything. Everything she is influenced by in this movie. She has such a great understanding of both how to express herself and how to feel with her own opinion. Like, she's not just an empty vessel of like, these events define me, therefore I have nothing more to offer to the story. And the actress who plays her, I do not know her name, she does really good at playing that. I wasn't sure how I was feeling about her in the beginning, because she just seemed simple in this movie. And then I'm starting to realize that she's actually conveying quite a bit. I don't know if it's like the range of emotion that could be fully experienced. I don't think her character may be fully realized with this performance, but I do know that there is something special in what she's doing, as is with all the actors present. But I do think that's kind of a situation. That would be probably one issue that's coming to my head as I'm considering this movie. I don't know if every character outside of the commune is fully realized. And I would also say there is one moment. This is the only moment that came out as oh, why did you do that? And it was towards the directing. It was towards an editing choice. Because there's this brilliant moment where the movie began to click for me, and I started to understand, oh, this is why things are happening, this is why things are connecting, this is why the setting has been chosen, this is why the story is happening. And then there's an insert to confirm what I had already been able to figure out through it, what the evidence of the movie was giving to me. As if to say, just in case you weren't catching on to everything that has been set up to you, here's the proof of it. It's one of those things that I personally have a gripe with, but I understand that a lot of other people might need it. I also think that there's one, I would say it's probably actually a major issue. There is a character who makes a choice in this movie. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, it doesn't really make sense why that character at that specific time would choose to make that choice. If they were going to make that choice later, or when they haven't been warned not to do something, and then they immediately do it, I feel like the person is much too intelligent for that specific choice at that specific time. Honestly, again, I can't say anything. It's so difficult to mention critiques because it's so specific, and its exact logic and motivations behind things that I don't want to give away. That being said, the setting is immaculate, and you do need to set yourself up for some very graphic events, very taboo things, but I promise you that if you are a fan of both horror films and of really great character pieces, this is a great character piece. If you're a fan of those kinds of stories, Midsommar is actually kind of an essential. And if you want to go into like scenic design, I would absolutely see this movie. It's a brilliant usage of minimalism in terms of like nature, but then minimalism fully realized. Like, this is one of the best set films I've really ever seen. Once again, big shout out to Madeline. Thanks once again for sitting with me for a bit while I was processing with this movie. And thank you all for listening to my reactions to Midsommar. I really hope you guys see it. And as always, take care.